nice, like gentle class. We're gonna stay on the ground and just do some stretches. My hope is that these are things that you can take with you like on the trail and things that you can just use in like your everyday life. Like if you're feeling tense or stressed out or anything, yoga really is like a tool. Like you can use, you don't have to do like a whole mega class. You can just take like one or two of these shapes and really give yourself a big benefit. So that is my intention. So this is just a little yoga for hikers.
It's recording.
Oh, it is. Okay, great. So we're all going to start lying down. You guys can have your feet towards me, head towards the back. And just start by bringing your feet to the outside edges of your mat. And then touch your knees together in the center. You can place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And we're just going to use this shape as a way to transition from whatever's been happening in your morning, whatever's kind of going on. We're transitioning to the present moment. And we're just being really curious about the sensations that we feel in our bodies and the way that it feels when we breathe. So just being interested in our breath as well. And we'll start by clearing the passageway. So inhaling through your nose. Pull the breath nice and slow, expanding your lungs. Feel your intercostal muscles stretch as you expand your ribs. Hold your breath. Take another sip of air. Feel really full. And then open your mouth and exhale. Nice. And just allow your body to rest and release down into the floor. We'll take 2 more breaths like that, inhaling through your nose. So a little slower, a little deeper. See if you can bring the breath a little deeper down into the lowest lobes of your lungs. So you're stretching yourself out to maximum capacity. Feel abundant, feel expansive. Hold your breath. 1 more sip of air. And then open your mouth and exhale. Yeah, beautiful breath, you guys. And releasing your body and your tissues as you release your breath. Here's your final breath. So just like an invitation, you're inviting the breath into your body. Biggest breath you've taken so far. And as you invite the breath in, you're inviting yourself into the space. Hold your breath at full. 1 more sip. Make sure you're at maximum capacity, like you're blowing up a balloon on the inside of your body. And then open your mouth and exhale and completely release your body as well. Now just allow your breath to be natural, flowing in and out of your nose. Notice if you're holding any tension here. So releasing the tissue around your eyes. Unfurrow your brow. And then send that sensation of relaxation all the way down. So just turning off little muscle group by little muscle group. So especially for you guys, you are working your bodies super hard, super active in your daily activities. So this is kind of the opposite mental state, the opposite mentality. We want to, instead of striving or trying, we're more interested in receiving and allowing. So when we do feel our muscles kind of like gripping or holding on, just see if you can soften down. And it's a practice. It's almost, at least for me, harder to be like inactive than it is to be active. And it's not what's really promoted in our culture. We're taught to like strive and achieve. So this is the opposite, and we just need to create a little space and just be really gentle with yourself. So bringing your arms down by your side, palms facing up, and then straighten your legs out wide. Just take a moment to allow your tissues to return back to a natural shape. So you may notice some circulation in your hip area, your feet, or your knees. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Now bring your legs as if you're standing on the sky. So flexing your feet towards the ceiling. You're working towards straightening your legs, but you might have a little bend in your knees, especially if your hamstrings feel tight. But you are looking to stack your joints. There's like a sensation that your feet are floating when you have things in alignment. So you're looking for ankles over knees, over hips, and you can kind of bring your heels a little forward and back, side to side. Notice when you find that sweet spot where your feet are floating a little bit. So this is one especially after you've been hiking, and if you do have like maybe a tree you could put your booty up against, or like an actual wall, to make this more restorative, you're allowing all that blood flow that's been kind of pushing down into your feet from like the weight of your body and your backpack and gravity, just kind of pressing down on your poor little tootsies all day long. So you're allowing your circulation to move in reverse, and this is really balancing. This is also helping to decrease any stagnation, any blockages. If things start to tingle and feel uncomfortable, you are welcome to bend your knees for a moment, release the pressure, and then just straighten your legs back up when you're ready. So all of these poses we're gonna hold for a little bit of time, and the idea is when we hold for time, we can allow our muscles to relax so that the stretch can get down into the deeper layers. So we're not really trying to stretch the muscles, we're trying to access the connective tissue that wraps around the muscles. And this tissue is a little more plastic than elastic. And when the muscles are activated, they don't really, they don't get any of the effect. The tension goes into the muscle belly instead. So this fiber is sometimes can feel dense and tight. And when we open it up, we create space for our muscles to move, for better range of motion and alignment. So it might not seem like we're really doing a whole lot. We're holding still, we're kind of lying on the ground most of the time. But on an energetic level and like a physical level, this is doing your body a tremendous benefit. We'll just stay here for a few more rounds of breath. See if you can keep your face really soft. So any concentration that you're feeling between your eyebrows, any tension in your jaw or your throat, just see if you can melt. Take another full round of breath. Inhale through your nose. Smooth exhale breath. And then guide your knees into your chest. So bend your knees, grab your right hand on your right knee, left hand on your left knee, and then pull your knees outside of your ribs towards your shoulders. Yeah, good. So you're feeling like a nice long flat back. Tuck your chin a little bit, snuggle your shoulders down so they both feel even and broad. You might roll a little from side to side. Make sure that you feel even on your hips, so the back of your low back feels kind of flat to the ground. Tuck your chin a little bit and imagine you're lengthening the top of your head away from your tailbone. So once you have the edge, once you feel the stretch, like maybe a dull, achy sensation, stop pulling on your knees and just hold yourself in that place. And then bring your awareness to your hips, your glutes, your legs, and see if you can relax your muscles. So soften the muscles of your legs. Your hands are holding you. You don't need any tension there. Keeping your breath slow and steady in and out of your nose. Just noticing as we are still and quiet, this is your mind starts to get busy. So our minds are these beautiful things that are meant to think and plan and get us through our day. But right now we're more curious about the body. So anytime you find yourself drifting off in thought, see if you can bring your awareness back to the rhythm of your breath. Maybe turning towards the sensations that you feel in your vessel instead. We'll stay here for 5 more breaths, releasing any tension that you feel, softening your legs, your feet, your jaw, your brow, any little muscle fiber that you can soften. Just find one little spot and just release it down. Finish your last breath, guiding your knees towards each other. You can grab for the top of your kneecaps, and we'll take some circles. So bringing your knees in towards your chest, and then over to the left, and then pushing your knees out away from you. You're like arching your low back, bringing the tip of your tailbone down, and then bring your knees over to the right side, and then back towards you. And you can make these circles as big or as little as you like. This is really awesome for breaking up any kind of compression that happens in your low back, hips, and legs, which is obviously doing a lot of work for you guys these days. So there may be a place that feels a little tender or tight. You're more than welcome to pause there and breathe into it. And then when you feel ready, you can take the circles in the opposite direction. So this is a great one to do if you just need one little one little exercise to bring some fluid back into your hips, break up some compression, some blockages. You might even notice some little cracks and popping. That's totally normal. You're releasing compression from the joints. And you can do any of these shapes or exercises for as little or as long as you want. Hug your knees into your chest and then roll yourself over onto your side, whichever side you like. And then press yourself up to a seat. So we're just gonna come up to a nice seated position. Don't know how to say that word. Sitting nice and tall. Hi, do you want my mat? You're good? Okay. So sitting nice and tall with your legs crossed and your eyes closed. You can bring your hands to your laps, palms facing down, and then just gently shifting your weight from side to side, feeling the evenness of your sit bones. And then rooting down with your seat, engaging your lower abdominals, lift your chest, and stretch the top of your head towards the sky. So you're moving energy in equal and opposite directions, down through your base, up through your chest, and out through the top of your head. Just allow your shoulders to relax down. And then slowly flutter your eyes open. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, lengthen through your fingers. You can press your palms if that feels okay on your shoulders. Take a peek down at your ribs. If they're sticking out, just knit them back in. Yeah, beautiful adjustments, you guys. So your spine is nice and tall and stacked. We're gonna twist to the right, my right and your right. So it's gonna look like we're going opposite ways. You guys are gonna go that way. Full breath in. Exhale, twist to the right. So bring your left hand to your right knee. Yeah, really nice. Tense your fingertips behind you. Lift your chest, get tall. Belly button pulls in towards your spine, and then look over your shoulder, giving your spine a nice rinse. This is gonna help create some space in between the vertebrae. Those little discs get a lot of compression as we walk, especially with the weight of your backpack, gravity, all just kind of pressing down. So we're trying to just kind of unwind those habitual patterns of our day, create a little more space for fluid. Inhale, come back to center, lengthen through your fingers, and then we'll twist to the other side. So right hand to your left knee, tense your fingertips, get nice and tall, and then twist, looking over your left shoulder. Keep squeezing your belly button in and lifting your chest so your spine is tall. And then the more you look over your shoulder, the more twist you're gonna find. Good. Inhale, coming back to center, lengthen through your fingers. Now stretching your legs out to the side. This doesn't have to be like a huge stretch, just make sure you can feel a little bit of a lengthening through your thighs, and we're gonna twist again. So inhale, reach up and lengthen. Exhale, twist to the right. So bring your hand to the outside of your thigh. If that feels like a little too far, you can also tense your fingers in front of you. Just make sure your spine is nice and tall and lifted. Yeah, that's exactly right. Belly button pulls in, you're rinsing yourself out, mobilizing your rib cage and your shoulders. Inhale, slowly coming back to center, lengthen through your fingers, and then we'll take it to the other side. So right hand to your left leg, tense your fingers, lift and twist. So you're rinsing yourself out. Imagine like you're like a wet towel. So when you create the compression, you're squeezing out all of like that dirty water. When you release fresh oxygenated blood, nutrient-rich fluid can come rushing in. Inhale, come back to center, lengthen. And exhale, we're gonna fold right down the center. So hands, you can bring them like just kind of walking out a little further. So hamstrings can feel really tight. If you want to bend your knees a little or a lot, that can release some of the pressure. And you want to lead with your chest. So I'm just going to show you from the side. Yeah, that's gorgeous. If you have it in your range of motion to come down a little deeper, maybe you come down to your forearms. But try to keep the rounding out of your back. You're leading with your chest. Yeah, good. So creating length along the inside of your legs. Your hamstrings are getting a nice big stretch. You're also decompressing your low back. So these areas of your hamstrings, hips, and low back, they're all connected. And when one gets tight, it pulls on the others. So we're trying to create space in those deep connective tissues. You can just kind of settle in. Notice over time, your body may feel more invited to come down. You can walk your hands a little more further if you like. If anything feels painful, just gently kind of backing out a little bit. So we're gonna hold for a little time. Remember, you can do any of these shapes as little or as long as you want. This one is also nice with a prop, so if you have like a rolled up something like a sleeping bag or anything, your backpack even, you can press your like forearms on top of that as you lean forward. That could be a nice modification. And we'll just stay here for 3 more breaths. Start with your toes. See if there's any kind of gripping or clenching in your feet. Just release. Softening into your ankles, your inner legs, your hips. And then slowly placing your hands on the ground, lift your chest, sit up nice and tall. We're going to come into tabletop position, so stacking your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Top of your head stretching away from your tailbone, so cat-cow. These 2 movements can help to bring some fluid and some circulation if you need a little release. So inhale for cow pose, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Really lift your chin a lot, so you do mostly looking down at the trail. You want to get some stretch into your throat, create a little space. Feeling that gentle compression in your low back, full breath in. Exhale, round, cat pose. You want to press the mat away from you. Maybe even tucking your toes into the ground, just depends on how tender that feels. But getting some stretch to the bottoms of your feet after shoving them into shoes all day can really help. Inhale for cow pose, drop your belly, lift your gaze. You can untuck your feet, really lift up your chin, and exhale for cat, press and round. So just moving through these 2 shapes. You can go as slowly or as quickly as you want to. If there's any place that feels interesting or tender, you can pause and breathe. You might want to dip your hips a little from side to side. You might want to circle out your head and your neck, so any free movement is totally invited. Really the idea is that you're listening to your body and you're kind of following the invitation. Like what is it asking you to do? Now find a neutral spine. Inhale your right arm up and open to the side. Exhale, thread the needle. Bring your right arm through. Right cheek comes down to the mat, and you can reach your left hand towards the top of your mat. Just be gentle with yourself if your shoulders feel tight. It might feel better to keep your hand under your shoulder and just kind of press the mat away a little bit. And then you're just allowing the weight of your body to get heavy. Yeah, just go ahead and bring your cheek to the ground like that. Yes, exactly. And then notice your hips. You might need to even out your hips. Yes, good job, you guys. Beautiful. Keeping your hips over your heartbeat, so you're getting a little bit of circulation and blood flow up into your brain. You're also compressing into your shoulder girdle, which can tend to get pretty tight, kind of lugging around your straps all day. And then, yeah, anytime you're getting your head below your heart, you're in an inversion. So receiving the benefits of balancing your circulation. Bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder. We're going to come out the same way we came in. Inhale, reach your right arm up, and maybe take some circles. You can go in one direction or the other, just getting some blood flow into your shoulder after we created compression. Find tabletop again. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Inhale your left arm up and open. And then exhale, thread the needle. Left arm through, left cheek to the mat. Extend your right arm forward. Bring your hips in line with each other, so a little bit left hip up and back. And then just allowing the weight of your body to get heavy. You're not doing any kind of pushing or striding here. You're allowing gravity and the posture to do the work. Bring your right hand underneath your shoulder, coming out. Inhale, left arm stretching up and open. And then circling it out a little bit if you want to. We're going to make our way into downward facing dog. So this is pretty much the furthest we're going to get away from the floor. Tuck your toes into the ground and lift your hips up and back. And then just pedal it out. So I have a lot of people tell me that the backs of their heels and their Achilles tendon has been feeling really tender. And then there's also hamstrings, hips, and low back. You can dip into your hips a little bit here. You're kind of pedaling out your feet. Also, you know, your head is usually on top of your body. In this position, you're in an inversion, so you're getting all that circulation up into your brain. So this can be a really nice one to do in kind of a moving way. If you want to set it up still, go ahead and look back at your feet. You want your feet hip width distance apart. Bend your knees a lot and then send your tailbone up to the sky. So you're looking to press your chest back towards your thighs. For me, my heels don't touch when my spine is in the right alignment. When my heels touch the ground, my back rounds, and that's really not what we're looking for. So any amount of bend in your knees is fine. Really shoot your tailbone high to the sky and press your chest back. You're gonna wrap your shoulders back into the sockets. Let me just take a peek at you guys. Yeah, look right back through your shins and then press your chest back a little more, Blue. Yes, that's so good. That was a beautiful adjustment. So you can hold this posture still, or you can do the pedaling out, whatever feels best for you. And that's just one to kind of put into your toolbox. Bring your knees to the ground. Sit down on your hips and then reach your legs out long in front of you. And shake out your legs a little bit. If you need a bend in your knees, hamstrings can feel tight. That's always a good modification. Bring your right foot in, sole of your foot really close to your hip. You want to sit nice and tall. Interlace your hands below your knee. Hook your left elbow on your right knee. Bring your right arm high up and over. Tense your fingertips, lift your chest and twist. So once again, twisting yourself out. This is really good for your digestion. You're getting a nice healthy rinse right into your digestive tract. On the right side, that's your ascending colon. Inhale, slowly coming out. And switching out your legs, so right leg out, left leg in. And bring the sole of your foot really close. Interlace your hands nice and tight. Sit tall. Hook your elbow on your knee. Left arm high up and over. Lift and twist. Yeah, beautiful, everybody. Pull your belly button in. Looks really good with your spine. All of you, really nice alignment. Rinsing yourself out, squeezing your core. Nice. Inhale, slowly coming back to center. Bring both of your legs out long in front of you, and then grab your seat and just kind of walk your booty back a little bit. You want to be sitting in front of your sit bones. So you're like tilting your pelvis bowl forward. And then inhale your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge forward at your waist. So this is going to lengthen this entire back line here. So leading with your chest and hinging from your hips rather than rounding your spine. So I was talking about fascia before, that connective tissue that wraps around your muscles. There's a giant sheet of fascia that starts with your feet, your plantar fascia. It turns into your Achilles tendon, wraps around all the muscles of your calf, the backs of your knees, your hamstrings, your hips, your low back, middle back, upper back. It goes all the way up your neck, all the way up your head, and it ends at your eyebrows. So anywhere along this line, which especially for you guys as you're hiking, there can get like kinks or tightness, and that can cause trouble anywhere. So like if your feet are tight, you might feel a headache. So we're just trying to stretch this whole back sheet, create space so the muscles can move freely, so the fluid can flow where it wants to. This is helping to create better alignment in our bones. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. This one can feel a little intense. So remember, you can always do these for as little or as long as you like. Let's take one more full round of breath. As you inhale, feel the length of your body. And as you exhale, kind of feel into the depth. Use your hands to lift your chest, coming up nice and tall. Bend your knees, slide your seat forward, and let's come back to the floor. All the way down to the ground. Grab your knees into your chest. Just take a couple of gentle rocks from side to side. Feel your back, feel your hips. Put your feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And allow the weight of your right leg to drop down. So this is a big open rotation for your hip joint. So do your ankle rather than your leg, like this. Yeah, and then let the weight of your knee drop towards the knee. Good, you guys, perfect. And now if you want to add on, you can guide your legs towards you. Thread the needle, bring your hands behind your hamstring, or maybe you bend your left knee and grab for the top of your shin. Yeah. And then just tuck your chin a little bit. Make sure that the back of your neck feels long. Snuggle both of your shoulders into the ground. And then as you guide your legs towards you, press your right knee away slightly, just until you feel that edge where your body notices the sensation, but no pain. And then we'll hold on to this for a little bit of time. So release the gripping and the striving and just soften into the shape. thighs really soft and relaxed. Continue to notice your inhales and your exhales. Let's take 3 more breaths. And when you finished your last breath, keep your legs like they are. Just bring your left foot back down to the ground. You got it. Now cactus your arms with your palms facing up. Scoot your hips slightly over to the right, and then drop your legs over to the left. So other way, yeah. So you want the outside edge of your left leg on the ground and the sole of your right foot on the ground. Just go ahead and plop them down. Yeah, you got it. And then if this feels like too much in your arms, you can relax your arms down by your sides. If it feels okay in your head, you might keep your gaze neutral, or maybe you turn your head towards one or the other shoulders, just kind of noticing how that feels in your spine. You do want to be able to feel somewhat comfortable in the shape, so if there's any gripping of your muscles, see if there's any way that you can adjust so that you can release the tension a little bit. And then we'll settle in for a little bit of time. Continue to stay with the rhythm of your breath. Take another full breath in. Imagine you're just really expanding into your right rib cage. And a smooth breath out. Keep your left leg where it is and just stack your right knee on top. We're going to come into a supine twist. You might need to adjust your hips a little bit. You have both of your legs stacked. Cactus your arms. You can stay like this with your arms, or if it feels better in your shoulders, you can relax your arms down. This is a really good posture for remobilizing your joints. They get really kind of stuck together and dense in the hip and low back and leg area, where those all three kind of meet. So we're just trying to create a little space between the joints so synovial fluid can come in, so blood can move through, so our nerves and our veins can just kind of be open. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths. And remember, any of these poses you can do all by themselves. You can hold them anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes. It all just kind of depends on how you're feeling at the time, but just know that you can take these practices with you anywhere you like. Slowly bring your feet to the ground, bring your hips back to center, arms down by your side, and just adjust. Make sure your shoulders feel even, your hips feel even if you need to wiggle around at all. We'll do the same thing on the other side, so crossing your left ankle over your right thigh. You can stay right here, or thread the needle, bring your legs towards you, interlace your hands behind your hamstring or on top of your shin. And then just noticing if you're rolling to one side or the other, you want to even out the distribution of your weight. And as you guide your legs towards you, you're slightly pressing your left knee away. And just move into that space where you feel it first. So you don't have to go into like 100% of the pose. You don't have to like feel some crazy sensation. I just want you to feel like a little bit of a dull ache. And then just hold yourself there, support yourself in the shape, and release your muscles the best you can. Here's your last 3 breaths. Finish with your last breath. Just take your time, no rush. Release your grip. Bring your arms out like a cactus and plant your right foot on the ground. Now from here, scoot your hips over to the left just a little bit as you drop your legs over to the right. Yeah, so ankle cross on top of your thigh. So we're starting with this one and then dropping it over. Yeah, exactly. Then look up at the ceiling, or you can turn your head towards either shoulder and slightly pressing your knee away as you feel that big open rotation on the left hip joint. Imagine the weight of your bones just kind of dropping down, blending into the mat. You're like melting like a little pat of butter on a piece of toast. Take another full round of breath. Imagine you're really breathing into the left side of your lungs, your left ribs opening up. And then just keeping your arms where they are, stack your knees on top of each other. So if you're coming into a supine twist, you may need to adjust a little bit. Just kind of wiggle around until you feel comfortable. Nothing should feel like pinchy or tight. You want a nice kind of long spine as you move into the twist. And then gaze can be up at the sky or towards whichever shoulder feels nice. And as we come up at the end of our time together, just trying to continue to stay with your body, with your breath. Maybe sending yourself a little bit of gratitude for how far you've come, for what your amazing vessel is capable of. It is truly a gift. Take a full breath in. Easy breath out. And then make your way to your hips, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Thank yourself for showing up, not just to practice today, but you guys have been showing up for yourselves like every single day. Exhale into your final Shavasana. Bring your legs long and your arms long. You can stretch yourself out a little wider if that feels good, or maybe you keep your arms and your legs a little more contained. Just make sure your shoulders feel even, your hips feel even. If you need to adjust your clothes or anything, please do. We're not going to stay here for too long, but this posture is really important in our yoga practice. This is how our body assimilates on an energetic level everything we've done. So we're creating change on a cellular level, new neural pathways, and we're just trying to allow that to sink in. So we'll stay here for just a little more time together. Continue to keep your awareness on the rhythm of your breath, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. Bring your arms over your head. Point your fingers, point your toes, arch your low back. See if you can get as long as you can. Big breath in. And then rolling over onto whichever side you like. You can plant your feet on the ground, roll over onto your side, and then press yourself up to a comfortable seat. So beautiful, you guys. So sitting nice and tall with your legs crossed and your eyes closed, or if there's any other comfortable position, just allowing your sit bones to find the earth as the top of your head stretches towards the sky. You can bring your hands together at your chest. This is Anjali Mudra, the mudra for balance. So kind of connecting the right and left hemispheres of our brain and blending the light and dark aspects of ourselves. Thank you so much for coming to practice. It is my honor to guide you, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.
Namaste.